السلام عليكم ومرحبا وأهلا وسهلا بكم في درس جديد. Hello and welcome to another new lesson. How to say I want something in Arabic and I have something or something is mine. Knowing that in Arabic we don't really have a verb to have. So we substitute by using different prepositions and adverbials. Let's start the lesson. So, أريد means I want something. أريد. You can say أنا أريد. I want. Now, if we look at أريد, the verb, it's already conjugated for I want. So you don't have to use the pronoun. You can cross it out. You can leave it or you can cross it out. So I can say أريد تفاحة. I would like an apple or I want an apple. Or أنا أريد تفاحة. So same thing. To sound more natural, you can just omit أنا. Well, let's say you're in a coffee shop. في المقهى, in the coffee shop. مقهى is a coffee shop. The lady over here is asking أي خدمة. So أي in Arabic means which. For example, which or what. For example, أي كتاب قرأت. Which book did you read or what book did you read? أي كتاب تريد. Which book do you want? So أي خدمة, which service or what kind of service would you like? خدمة means a service or a favor in Arabic. So أي خدمة means can I help? Literally in English would mean can I help? So what kind of service can I offer you today? أريد كوبا من القهوة. I'd like a cup of coffee. لو سمحتي. He's addressing a female. Now if he was addressing a male, لو سمحت or لو سمحت. So we can say لو سمحت or لو سمحت for a male. لو سمحتي, we have to emphasize the ending T for a female. And when she's giving him the coffee, she's going to say تفضل. تفضل, please have or please take something. And it's a polite word that we often use in Arabic. Please have this. تفضل. Please go in. تفضل. ادخل, for example. Please go in. Or you're opening the door for someone. You're standing in a queue and you're letting someone go ahead. You say تفضل. Or you're offering food to someone. تفضل. If you're addressing a female, you always hear the E sound in the imperative. So تفضلي. Please have or please take or please go in first. تفضلي. تفضل. تفضلي. Now she told him تفضل. Here's your coffee. تفضل. He can say شكرا, thank you, and she can reply back saying عفوا. عفوا comes from عفو, which means forgiveness. It's literally like forgive me, it's nothing. You're welcome, kind of. أهلا وسهلا as well means welcome. So عفوا, أهلا وسهلا, you're very welcome. Now she's asking him how does he like his coffee. كيف تحب قهوتك? Or if she was addressing a female customer, كيف تحبين قهوتك? So verb أحب, you like or you love, we use أنت تحب. You like or you love for the female, you in the feminine. أنت تحبين. كيف تحب? كيف تحبين. قهوة is coffee. Now your coffee, we're gonna add the possessive, attached possessive pronoun, the ka for the masculine, the ki for the feminine. كيف تحب قهوتك? كيف تحبين قهوتك? Now how to say with something and without something. To say with something, you can either use be or مع. Be means with. For example, I go to school by car. So أنا أذهب إلى المدرسة بالسيارة. So by car. أنا أذهب إلى العمل بالقطار. I go to work by train. Or أنا أذهب إلى العمل بالباص. So I go by bus. So be can either mean by, and it can also mean with. So بالحليب, that means with milk. So he's saying بالحليب, with milk. Or he can use مع. So مع الحليب, مع الحليب, that means with milk. مع is an adverbial. مع سكر, with sugar. مع الحليب, with milk. Or بالسكر, with sugar, so same thing. قشطة is cream, so he can say مع القشطة, with cream, or بالقشطة, same thing as well. Now to say without, we can use بدون, so بدون حليب, without milk. بدون سكر, without sugar. بدون قشطة, without cream. Or you can also use بلا, which means with no or with none, literally. So we're dissecting the word without or with none. Same thing with بدون, it means without or literally means something less than something. So بلا, without, or بدون. ب or مع, that means with. Oh, over here about caffeine, بدون caffeine, that means you'd like your coffee without caffeine or decaffeinated. Or you can also say بلا caffeine. If you'd like it with, بالكافيين أو مع الكافيين. So same thing. بالحليب, with milk. مع الحليب. بدون حليب, without milk. مع القشطة, with cream. مع سكر, with sugar. بدون سكر, without sugar. And we have also a word سادة, which means plain, like without additions, without sugar, and commonly we use it as well without milk. سادة. How do we say I have? We use an adverbial, which is عند. عند plus an attached possessive personal pronoun. So let's say كتاب means a book. كتاب. If I add the ya over here, كتابي. So my book. كتابي, it will become my book. So I'm going to write it down for you. So kitab, a book. Now if I add the ya, kitabi, my book. هاتف, a phone. هاتفي, my phone, and so on. Now over here, عندي means at mine, literally. So at mine is something. أنا عند الطبيب. أنا عند الطبيب. I'm at the doctor's. So عند is an adverbial that means at. So when we say عندي, we're literally saying it's at mine, or at mine is something. Now عندي دب, I have a bear, or at mine is a bear. عندي دب أبيض, I have a white bear. Now this is just an exercise for you to practice saying I have. Next one is for you, عندي كتاب. So كتاب is a book, and you have to match it with the right color. So عندي كتاب أخضر. Well done. أحسنتم. قلم, a pencil or a pen. عندي قلم أصفر. Well done. عندي قلم أحمر. What about this one? Can you try saying I have a green pen? عندي قلم أخضر. عندي قلم أزرق. أحسنتم. عندي كتاب أبيض. عندي كتاب برتقالي. عندي كتاب أحمر. عندي كتاب أسود. عندي دفتر, a notebook or a copybook. دفتر أبيض. عندي دفتر أبيض. and over here عندي دفتر أسود, black. عندي هاتف, or we can use جوال for a mobile phone. أزرق. so عندي هاتف أزرق, أو عندي جوال أزرق. عندي هاتف أبيض, أو عندي جوال أبيض. عندي هاتف normal phone or landline. هاتف أبيض. We also use the word telephone, by the way, which is 100% correct. So you can say عندي telephone as well. عندي هاتف أخضر. عندي هاتف أسود. عندي كلب أزرق. Have you ever seen a blue dog? Okay. Or an orange dog? عندي كلب برتقالي. So over here you can see عند is attached to a personal possessive pronoun. Now because we have the E sound here, you cannot say عند E. It becomes عندي. عندي. I have. So عندي تفاحة. I have an apple. Now عند plus ك, which means your for the masculine. So at yours, literally. عندك. And over here plus the key, which means yours for the feminine. عندك, at yours, or you have. عندك تفاحة. You have an apple. Now to ask a question, we use the question tool. هل عندك تفاحة? Have you got an apple? هل عندك تفاحة? In everyday life, in spoken Arabic, we drop this question tool. We just say عندك. Kind of saying, you have an apple, like just changing the tone of your voice. عندك تفاحة. عندك تفاحة. It's also correct to say that. هل عندك أولاد? Have you got children? هل عندك أولاد? And the answer could be نعم عندي أولاد. Yes, I have children. Or you can negate by using ما, particle ما, or incomplete verb ليس. So لا ما عندي أولاد. لا ليس عندي أولاد. Both are correct. ليس is very common in written text, books, stories, Arabic learning. Ma is common across both written and spoken. More likely in spoken Arabic, you'll hear ما عندي. But it's also فصيحة. It's also from al-Fusha. So both are correct in al-Fusha or in standard Arabic. But ma is, I've chosen ma here because it's used between both, and you'll sound more natural if you say عندي ما عندي. So هل عندك, and over here you can use this template to ask about different objects. For example, قلم, كتاب, جوال, or هاتف, هاتف, telephone, كلب, and you can add to it a color. Obviously, it's masculine nouns and masculine colors that we're doing here at this stage. For example, هل عندك كتاب أحمر؟ هل عندك هاتف أسود؟ نعم عندي. For example, هاتف أسود. لا ما عندي هاتف أسود. هل عندك قلم؟ قلم أزرق. نعم عندي قلم أزرق. لا ما عندي قلم أزرق, etc. Now to ask, have you got coffee with milk? هل عندك, he's asking her, قهوة بالحليب? Have you got coffee with milk? Or he can say هل عندك قهوة بدون كافيين or بلا كافيين, like without caffeine. If you're in the grocer, هل عندك ملح, for example, or هل عندك, if it was a female, هل عندك ملح, هل عندك خيار, هل عندك دجاج, هل عندك خبز, هل عندك خس, هل عندك لحم, هل عندك بيض, هل عندك ثوم, هل عندك جبنة. And he could say نعم عندي, لا ما عندي, ولا ليس عندي. In real life you'll often hear ما عندي. هل عندك قلم, هل عندك ساعة. These are objects that we normally ask about. هل عندك دفتر, جريدة, for example, هل عندك جريدة اليوم? Have you got today's newspaper? هل عندك ورقة لو سمحت? Have you got a paper please? You want to write something? هل عندك مقص, scissors? هل عندك مبراة, sharpener? هل عندك ممحاة, an eraser? هل عندك هاتف? هل عندك مفتاح, a key? هل عندك مسطرة, a ruler? نعم عندي قلم, for example. لا ما عندي قلم. Or you can say نعم عندي قلم. لا ليس عندي قلم. So you can negate with ما or ليس. Now we also use the adverbial مع, which means with. So for example, here she's asking him, كم حقيبة معك? So how many bags? Literally, you have, but it means you have with you or on you right now. So مع implies that the object is literally with you or on you at the moment. So معي حقيبة. I have a bag. Sorry for the typo over here. So I have a bag. معي حقيبة. That means one bag. Also notice when we ask how many, كم حقيبة معك? We ask with the singular pronoun, noun. So after كم, it's always a singular noun and not a plural noun. So we say كم حقيبة, not كم حقائب. How many bag, literally. In English, we're saying how many bag? كم حقيبة معك? حقيبة and not حقائب. For example, how many books did you read? كم كتابا قرأت? كم كتاب and not كتب. Now, let's say he's at a restaurant, he's booking a table and she needs to know how many people, how many persons. شخص means a person. كم شخصا معك? How many persons have you got? معي شخص, I've got one person. كم صندوقا معك? How many boxes have you got? معي صندوق, I've got a box. كم كيسا معك? How many bags? معي كيس. كم دولارا معك? How many dollars? كم طفلا معك? How many children? معي طفل. I've got one, or you can add according to the number. كم ورقة معك? معي ورقة, and so on. There's a specific lesson about counting and telling time and all about numbers and how you count, and you can refer to that lesson. I'll leave the link in the description box of the video for more information. You can see here مع plus the ya, which means my or mine. It becomes معي because we're adding the a and the e that doesn't go, so it's going to be معي. مع plus ka, which means your for the masculine, becomes معك. مع plus ki becomes معكي for the feminine. معي تفاحة, I have an apple. معك تفاحة, you have an apple. معكي تفاحة, you have an apple. Now to ask a question, هل معك تفاحة? هل معك تفاحة? I'm just going back here. So when we say عندي تفاحة, that means I have an apple. That's the difference. Doesn't necessarily mean I have it now with me. But when I say معي تفاحة, that means I have it now with me. So that's the main difference between عند ومع. That means مع is with at the moment. Okay, now using the lam preposition. So li is for me. So the lam plus the ya, li. Obviously, it changes to kasra here because we have the e. It cannot be la e. Now, la ka, la ki for you in the masculine, for you in the feminine. So هذا البيت لي, this house is mine. هذا البيت لك, this house is yours for the masculine. هذا البيت لك, this house is yours for the feminine. And often you hear شكرا لك, like thanks to you, or شكرا لك. And if I'm addressing a female, that literally means thanks to you. But we can also refer to objects as being mine, as I said. So we use the lam in addition to عند ومع. So you can use عند, عندي, that means I have in general. You can use معي, that means it's with me now. Or you can use the lam, which means something is mine. For example, لي أطفال or لي أولاد, I have children. If someone is asking, have you got children? هل لك أولاد instead of هل عندك. هل لك أولاد or هل لك أولاد. نعم لي أولاد. لا ما لي أولاد or لا ليس لي أولاد. If they're asking هل معك أولاد, that means have you got children now with you? So if we're asking in general, have you got something, we can use هل عندك or how هل عندك if it's a general question, or we can use هل لك, something for you. To be honest, commonly in everyday life, we can use هل عندك. So هل عندك is the most common and easiest form, and you don't have to think about like, Is it with? Is it for? Is it and so on? So هل عندك is the simplest form. If you're confused about using to have, just use هل عندك. Because it's more general. Now I'm just over here explaining everything that you might come across. Now, أريد, we said أريد plus an object, I want something. Now I want to, we use أن. So I want to do something. أريد أن plus a verb. For example, أريد أن أشرب, I want to drink. أريد أن أشرب الماء, I want to drink juice. أريد أن أشرب العصير. Sorry, أريد أن أشرب الماء, I want to drink water. أريد أن أشرب العصير, I want to drink juice. أريد أن أغسل, I want to wash. أريد أن أغسل الكوب, the cup. أريد أن أغسل يدي, I want to wash my hands. أريد أن أغسل الأطباق, I want to wash the plates, الأطباق. أريد أن أغسل الملابس, I want to wash the clothes. أريد أن أغسل الملعقة, I want to wash the spoon. أريد أن آكل, I want to eat. أريد أن آكل الدجاج, I want to eat chicken. أريد أن آكل اللحم, meat. أريد أن آكل السمك, I want to eat fish. أريد أن أنام, I want to sleep. أريد أن أنام مبكرا, I want to sleep early. أريد أن أنام متأخرا, I want to sleep late. أريد أن أنام مبكرا في سريري, in my bed. سرير is bed, and we added the E, which means mine or my, the yeah, the pronoun over here. أريد أن أنام متأخرا في غرفتي, late, in my bedroom. غرفة is a room. غرفتي, my room. Thank you for watching and hope you've enjoyed the lesson and found it useful. شكرا على المتابعة and see you in the next video إن شاء الله.